It was like any other spring morning. I had woken up at 6 a.m. just like clockwork, and I was about to go through my morning routine of brushing my teeth, putting on the clothes I had laid out the night before, and of course skipping breakfast, as I always did at that time in 8th grade, because I was about to miss the school bus yet again. But anyway, it was like any other spring morning. I got to middle school and I was walking through the long hallways at 8 o'clock in the morning, because that was early for me at the time as a 13-year-old. I was walking through the hallways just with my zombified colleagues, because just like me, we were all tired. And it was just like any other day. And whenever you hear the words middle school, you don't exactly imagine fun or excitement. I mean, I know I don't. Maybe boring and uneventful. Those are the words I would categorize middle school in. But anyway, let's get back to the story. So it was like any other day. I went through all the 8 classes I had, and I was getting on the bus after a long day. It was winter time, so the sun was starting to set, or it was around 4 o'clock when we got out, so the sun was about to go down. And I'm sitting on the school bus in the aisle, and I get this really odd text from my mom saying, "Come home immediately." Just that. And I looked at it, and you know, as a 13-year-old, you don't know what to think. You're thinking the worst, like what could happen? So I start texting her back and calling her, and she doesn't answer. And then I call my dad, I call my sisters. I'm like, what is going on? And none of them answer. So, you know, I'm sitting in a school bus about to go home and freaking out. Like, what is going on? No one's answering me. I start thinking the worst, like someone died, someone got in a car accident, the house burned down, you know, the worst. So we start leaving, and of course this 20-minute bus ride ends up feeling like 3 hours. It just drags on, and just my luck, I am always the last person to get off the bus. So I had to watch everyone else get off that school bus except me. I was almost tempted to get off and run to the house. That's how my nerves were going inside at that time. But eventually we get to the stop where my house is, and I don't even remember getting off that bus and crossing the street. I just remember my house, my front door was in my line of sight, and I beelined it to that front door. I don't even remember saying goodbye to the bus driver, and I usually did that every day, so she probably thought I was pissed at her. But I just ran straight to that front door. And like any other time that you're frustrated or you really need to be somewhere, my keys started to fumble, and they dropped to the ground and got stuck in one of the cracks in the wood and the paneling on the floor, and I was just I was up to here with these keys in the front door. So eventually I get them in the front door, I unlock it, and I whip that door open, and it is pitch black in the house. Now by this time the sun has almost set. It's starting to get really dark, and my house can get extremely dark if there are no lights on, and it was pitch black. The door shuts behind me, and it makes it that much darker, and I just stand there. I drop everything. I yell, "Mom! Mom, where are you?" There's no answer. Nothing. Except for this really faint tapping noise and all the flooring in my house is wood, so you can hear everything that goes on, and all you can hear is this little tapping noise. Tap, 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 tap. And you can tell it's starting to get, I could tell it's getting closer and closer to me. My heart was starting to beat out of my chest. I could feel it. I could hear it in my ears. That's how fast and how boom, 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 how hardcore it was going. Sweat was running down my back. I could tell I was just getting so nervous and so scared, and you can hear that tapping noise, tap, 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 and it's getting louder and louder, and it was getting closer to me. Now, I was, and a 13-year-old girl just getting home from middle school, no one's answering, standing there, frozen, and just hearing that tapping noise just made it that much worse. So it was tap, 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 and I could tell that whatever was making that noise was right in front of me. Right in front, because it stopped. I mean, where else was it going to go? I was the one making the most noise. It was obviously going to come towards me. It was obviously going to come attack me or something. So I run, blind as I can be because there are no lights on, and I just hit a wall and I try to find a light switch and I flip it on and I just gasp. What that was in front of me was the most, I mean, you couldn't even imagine what was standing right in front of me, all head to toe, covered in white hair. When it smiled, it had pearly white teeth that was gleaming in one of the lights that I turned on. What was standing in front of me ended up being one of the best friends I have to this day. What was standing in front of me made me gasp, but smile with just pure joy. What was standing in front of me was my little pup, my little Bichon Frise pup named Oliver. Probably the sweetest creature you could ever lay your eye, see and just meet. He wouldn't hurt a fly. And that day turned out to be quite an unexpected, exhilarating day.